the ever-elusive Castlevania Adventure Rebirth. This is a remake of the old Game Boy classic, and I call it elusive because there was a very short window in which you were able to purchase this game and play it. It released on the Nintendo Wii Shop in December of 2009 as a digital download only, and Nintendo closed that Wii Shop on January 30th, 2019. And with that closure, gone is the availability to purchase this game, and you cannot buy it or purchase it anywhere else. So you are not able to buy this game anywhere. There are only two ways that I know of to play this remake of the Game Boy Classic. You can purchase a Wii with the game pre-installed, or you download the Dolphin emulator and you emulate the experience on your PC. I decided to use the Dolphin emulator, and in this video you will check out some gameplay footage that I amassed on my first playthrough as I discuss my thoughts and review the best Castlevania game that you never played. With Rebirth being a remake of one of the worst Castlevania games ever, the bar is automatically set pretty low. Despite having this knowledge that the original isn't very good, it was still a game that I always had an interest in playing. I never owned a Wii when it was relevant, and once I did obtain a Wii, I wasn't able to purchase it on the Wii Shop store. I always wondered if I had missed out on a great Castlevania experience, so I decided to embark on the journey via emulation. In this game, you control Christopher Belmont, and the story couldn't be any more straightforward. Dracula's castle rises every 100 years, and it has been 100 years since Trevor Belmont slayed Dracula. So obviously, it's once again time to slay some vampires. And yes, you heard me correctly. The events take place 100 years after the events of Castlevania 3, one of my favorite Castlevanias. The game starts in a very traditional, classic Castlevania way. You're scrolling to the right, you're slashing your whip, you're breaking candles, you're getting upgrades, you're climbing steps, and you're slaying monsters. Christopher is a lot more mobile and agile when compared to his old NES brethren. He can change direction in mid-air and feels really light on his feet and is easy to control. You can gain whip upgrades moving from a leather whip to a chain whip to a whip that shoots fireballs. You gotta love that. The Fire Whip is something that comes directly from the Game Boy version of the game, and the limited timer on the fire property helps to balance the game so you're not overpowered. As you make your way through the levels, you're able to obtain keys that allow you to access different areas of the level and gain access to special rewards and power-ups. These branching paths allow for good replay to the game, and I'm looking forward to checking these out in a little bit more detail on future playthroughs. In Rebirth, you have the same typical old-school Castlevania power-ups of the dagger, the axe, the holy water, the cross, and the timer. If you've played the NES versions of Castlevania, you will feel right at home. The level progression seems pretty good at first. Level 1 seems somewhat easy, with a slight challenge. Level 2 gets a little bit more challenging and difficult, but still no real big challenge. The bosses are also rather easy. Then you hit level 3, and level 3 hits back. There is so much crazy platforming, spikes, spears, obstacles that you have to maneuver through, and it can be extremely frustrating, i.e. exactly the way the classic Castlevanias made you feel as a kid. The feeling of annoyance, difficulty, and eventually satisfaction when you pass these difficult areas took me back to a time when I was 10, and I was so mad throwing my Nintendo controller across the room as a Medusa head knocked me back and I fell into a pit. But of course, as a mature adult, I now would never throw my controller or do anything like that while playing a video game, obviously. What the f***? I have to say though, it was a hard hit of nostalgia to have those same feelings that I had as a kid playing Castlevania games. That part I really did love. So eventually I did make it through level 3, but at that point I only had one life left, and I died on level 4 and had to use my first continue. Level 4 and 5 were both very challenging, but nowhere near as unforgiving as level 3. The bosses to this point were pretty straightforward, nothing too difficult, they all had patterns, and being a savvy Castlevania veteran, I was able to blast right through all of these bosses rather easily. One of the awesome things about this game is that there's actually mid-level bosses. There were times I would be going through a level and the level seemed kind of long. I thought I was at the end, but no. Absolutely not. That's just the mid-level boss. We're only halfway through this level that we already spent 10 minutes on. Some of the bosses that you fight include big juicy eyeballs, a giant bat a la Castlevania 1's first boss, Frankenstein's monster, death, and more. I was rather pleased with the boss designs and the character models in this game, though the Medusa heads were kind of weird looking. And so were some of the skeletons. Level 6 is only a few rooms and only one enemy, and that enemy is Dracula. He has 3 forms, all of which will be familiar to you if you played the previous Castlevania games on the NES. Again, this game draws so much from that NES era. His first and second form will remind you of both of his forms from Castlevania 1. His last form, third form, is somewhat similar to his final form in Castlevania 3. His first 2 forms are really easy. You know, the first form, you slap Dracula in the head as he shoots fireballs at you. Then he turns into that monster and you just gotta kill him and whip him a whole bunch of times and dodge all of his attacks and you're good to go. But that last form, that last form, watch out. In that final form, he takes an excessive amount of damage to kill. There are tons of things flying all over the screen and it gets really overwhelming trying to fight with all of this madness going on around you. Once you get the hang of it though, the boss isn't as difficult as it initially is perceived, and eventually you're able to slay Dracula and save the world. Overall, I was very impressed with this remake. I love the atmosphere created by the level design, the sound effects, and the music is top notch. I cannot give enough praise for the music in this game. It uses a lot of the old school classic tunes. I think I heard some Bloodlines in there and some other NES style Castlevania games revamped the audio and it sounds great. Just hearing those sweet Castlevania classic themes takes me right back. I highly recommend that you check this game out, especially if you're looking for that old school Castlevania nostalgic experience. If you played this game, leave a comment down below in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of the game, or if you're looking forward to trying it out, leave a comment down there too and let me know. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to smash that like button and don't forget to click the subscribe button and the bell to make sure you get updated whenever I post new content. As always, I want to thank you for checking in. It's Gleez signing out and continue to game strong.